You're back with Despina Priala on Talking Law on Radio 97. And just before the break, you would have heard that we're talking about this massive news in regards to property law in Queensland. Despina, what's going on?
Okay, so we've had the property law bill actually passed. This is mammoth, like massive. This is the biggest overhaul of property law in Queensland. So the Property Law Act was passed in 1974, and we've been basically operating under that act for almost 50 years with very minimal changes. So this has been in the making for quite a few years, and it's now been, when I say overhauled, there are massive, substantial changes to the Property Law Act, with the Property Law Bill actually being passed. So we want to be clear, it's not law yet. It will become law next year, we're hoping, but it's actually been passed. So to get to that, extent is significant for Queensland. It's significant for anyone in property practitioners, lawyers, everyone who loves property, agents. They'll all want to know what all the news is about. So what I wanted to talk about specifically this morning, very briefly, is there are many changes with the property law bill. One of the biggest changes is the introduction of a seller disclosure regime. So again, be clear, this is not law yet, but it will become law next year, and we'll be working with many agents to help them through this process. Because what we have now in Queensland is buyer beware. The seller discloses very minimal information that they're required, unlike New South Wales. New South Wales sellers have to disclose a number of things in their contract when they provide that draft contract to the buyer. They don't have to do that in Queensland. With this new regime, sellers will have to disclose many more things they don't currently disclose about property. Now, we haven't seen the final form of the disclosure statement, but we're expecting it to cover aspects and issues such as contamination, such as environmental issues, such as flood issues, such as building compliance issues, things that you don't actually have to disclose right now. So it's really going to extend the seller disclosure obligations, in particular with body corporates. And this is a big issue of contention we find for buyers who sign contracts. Currently, sellers do not have to give buyers the bylaws. They don't have to give them the community management statement, which provides, for example, in that statement, the bylaws, but also the exclusive use plans. So when you buy into an apartment building or anybody corporate, one of the biggest concerns is, well, the agent said that I have 2 car parks. And they come to us and say, do I have 2 car parks? And I say, well, I won't know that till I order and get the community management statement. But this is after they sign a contract. So it's going to really change it quite considerably when you're buying into a body corporate. Because now we're hoping, of course, when the new disclosure statement is actually issued so we can see it and what it contains, that sellers will have to give buyers up front. Well, here are the bylaws, which are important, for example, pet bylaws and other perhaps onerous bylaws that might be in the scheme. But also you can see the plan, the exclusive use plan, which car parks belong to which lots, or maybe there's a storage space as well. So that's going to be all up front before they even sign a contract. So that is really significant. In my view, that's what sellers should already be doing, because it's not fair for buyers to not have that information up front. But the current laws say they don't have to give it. So I am absolutely super pleased with these laws being passed, because it does mean finally that we're going to be a little bit more like New South Wales, which I really enjoy and love, where sellers have to disclose really relevant things to a buyer when their buyer is considering making an offer on a property. And currently they don't have to disclose a number of things. So I think this is going to be quite beneficial.
And you say next year these laws will be coming in. Any idea of a timeline at this stage?
Well, no, not really. It's taken several years to get to this point, to have the bill passed, and lots of stakeholders.
We're just excited.
Yes, I know, and it's super exciting. I'm hoping sometime mid next year, but again, that you don't quote me on that. We just don't know. But as soon as I know, you'll know.
Right here on Talking Law, that is true. Despina, thank you so much for your time this morning covering these massive topics. If anyone does have a question about anything we spoke about today or just wants general advice, where can they contact you?
So they can phone the office, 55 291 294. They can email info@prialalegal.com.au, or they can even reach out on our community Facebook page that you've set up, Breakfast Radio 97 Facebook page. If you haven't joined, you should. And then you can put some questions in there and, we'll get to it when we can.
Thank you so much again, Despina and Wayne.
Let's do it all again next week, shall we?
See you then, guys.
Are you confused about legal jargon? Do you need legal advice but don't know where to turn? Tune in to Talking Law with Despina Priala every Thursday morning at 8:30 on Radio 97. Despina, a leading lawyer with over 20 years of experience, will demystify the law and provide practical advice to help you navigate legal issues. Whether it's a family matter, a property dispute, or a business concern, Talking Law has got you covered. Don't miss out on this valuable resource. Tune in to Talking Law with Despina Priala every Thursday morning at 8:30 on Radio 97.